Hey, is someone teaching for you today?
Oh, me.
Oh, because the staff meeting is about to start.
Was there an announcement? Do I have an email?
You should have received an email from Ellie. So.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, it was sent. It should have been sent out last week. Okay, so, well.
Shoot.
Yeah.
I am on top of my emails. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know that. So I don't know why you didn't receive one. So we'll catch you up.
Okay. Sorry.
No problem.
Did you reach out to Rocio?
Oh yeah, I was gonna do that this morning. I didn't want to text you too late. I forgot until it was like 8 or 9. I didn't want to text you too late.
Well, Sahai said she would be late, but I don't know where anybody else is.
Also, I want to say that like, the class looks kind of empty today. Yeah. Well, next week we take our exam.
Next Tuesday, we have a class, and since we are not having team meeting, we could meet at the regular 10 to 12.
Okay.
Do you think that would be easier to remember?
Yeah, I think that will work.
Okay. Totally fine with me. Y'all were just talking about next Tuesday because we're not gonna have a team meeting just because of the holiday weekend. That we could do our Ignite class instead of 11:30, we could do it at the regular 10 to 12. So everything that week will be 10 to 12. That sound
okay?
Okay.
Works for me, as long as it works for everybody else.
Oh, I mean, you won't be there anyway.
Yeah.
Continuity.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
If you want it, you could take it.
Take
I was
what?
just the home warranty program.
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
Yeah, I'm just picking it up to come back.
Oh, this is what was left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Jason, you were just winning brownie points, right? And
No, this is my OCD kicking in.
yeah, well, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Take on the meeting.
All right.
You're a lifesaver. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
You might have learned to
Well, hold on. I hit the dollar store, they see that. I'm gonna get your whole time.
And I have a bunch of pens, but I changed backpacks, so it was in my other backpack. And
Is that kind of like changing purses?
yeah, kind of sort of. So it's just like I forgot to take it out, and it's just.
Put pens in both backpacks.
Yeah, Anita, just when you get a chance.
Oh, sign
I'm
in.
like you, I flip.
Backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it in my other backpack because I have a big, what's it called? Pen, what's it called? A stoosh? Is that what it's called when you carry your pen?
Put them over.
Yeah, but a little thing with a zipper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of pens.
Okay, does everybody have their KW consumer app downloaded, at least, on your phone? Mario.
How did the competition go?
It was good.
Really?
Yeah, I gave out some perfect scores.
Ooh.
Whoa, baby.
A 10-0, so that was exciting.
Okay, why aren't you?
That's fun.
Yeah.
Did any, like, so were you just judging, or did, like, some of the kids that you coach, were they?
So yeah, I was just judging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did any of your kids win?
They weren't in this competition,
Okay.
because it's, you know, like AAU sports, like AAU basketball and like track and stuff.
I am not a sports person.
Okay.
But yes.
So yeah, it was part of that organization, AAU. So the girls that I used to coach, they compete in something called USA. It's just a different organization, so they weren't at this competition.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it was a lot of good gymnastics. So.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah, we got to. They have a program now for kids with disabilities, like either like Down syndrome or just physical disabilities. So we got to judge them also. So that was, yeah, that was really sweet.
We have an agent in our office named Tiffany Becker. She lives somewhere in Cobb, and she has a, let's say, going on 3-year-old daughter. She might be 3, and then a little boy, sub 1. So she's taking her daughter to gymnastics.
Oh.
And she'll post videos, and she's showing the progression from kind of like,
what do I do?
and then, hey, Rashad, and then the last one, she, I guess, I don't know, it's like a overhead bar or something. She actually was kind of swinging on it. She's like, she's coming along.
Yeah,
coming
that's
along.
awesome.
Yes. Okay, kids, I'm gonna start. You've got a lot to cover today. Yesterday, after class, Sahai and Althea were hanging around, and I came in, I started texting everybody each other's contact, and I didn't finish. So if I haven't done, I will finish, but I wanted to talk. Speaking of Althea. Yes. Well, Althea and Sahai and I were talking, and that they wanted, especially Sahai, a very clear, when I meet somebody that is interested in buying something, what do I do step by step, to, because if you don't have a process, it can really seem overwhelming. Okay, you're gonna need to sit in the next chair because you're blocking Edgar.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
I can't see Edgar. And that way, see, you'll be right between the two men. So to really, truly Ignite is designed, so by the end, not necessarily in the middle, but by the end, oh, wait a minute.
Veronica's here, by the way. She just got a call as she was walking in.
And now
All right, congratulations. Love you.
I've used it for 2 minutes.
Dang it.
Amazon.
Every time I make a change
Bless you.
to the screen, I have to start the slideshow over.
Anita, here you go.
Okay.
Friday?
I think we're going. Okay, so what we want you to have, okay, number one, what is our first priority?
Lead generation.
Because why?
That's the only way to make business,
Mhm.
money.
It's your responsibility to find your own business, and if you don't keep at it, Gary says every day, you'll come up short and you'll run dry eventually. And it is, the ultimate temptation is you've got a live one and you give it your all, and that's all you do, and that's all you think about all day long, and you obsess, and you want to be, ready for them. And when you finish with that client, hopefully in a closing, what do I do now? So
Maya was saying the same thing. She was telling me her trajectory for doing this 18 months. And she had all this stuff going on and it was great. And then she hit 3 months of a patch of, oh, I didn't generate this to
I
have
have
this
heard
patch.
more agents confess to that. And you don't notice it as much until you, hey Dolores, you get to the point of having closings every month. So, but once you build, but it could happen by the end of your first year, where you're having one or two is optimal closings per month. And then when you look ahead, you go, on the books, and that's your sole source of income, right? So lead generating every day, and then knowing when I meet a buyer or when I meet a prospective seller, what do I do? And to have a system so you don't freak out and you don't have to think about it, okay? So today we're only talking about buyers, but the very first thing when you meet somebody, obviously you wanna build rapport, you wanna charm them, make them want to work with you, like if you're at an open house and you're discussing with, talking with somebody. So after you've warmed them up and you like them as well as they like you, don't work with nasty people. The absolute goal is set an appointment. When can we get together to talk about, so I can learn exactly what you're looking for?
I have
So-
one at 10 a.m. on Friday.
Yay! So we're making it all about them, which it is. So it's set the appointment. Set the appointment. And today we're gonna talk about what you're gonna tell them in the appointment. So, moving along. Why, I think you've heard me say, and at the end of the appointment, well, the 3 things we wanna do at the appointment, we do truly want to discover what they're looking for, what's important to them. We want to convince them even more that we know what we're doing, and but that we can serve them. And the more you do it, the more you're going to be convinced that yes, you can. But then also talk about your working relationship, how they like to be communicated with, text, phone, whatever, how frequently. It's all about setting expectations so that everybody stays happy. So we're finding out what they want, then we're sharing our value proposition, and not like you stand there and give a speech, but we'll get into this meat and talk about your working relationship. And then the last thing we want, sign the buyer brokerage agreement. So during class today, I don't know if everybody picked one up, I printed from the elemental script book all the scripts, and we're gonna practice. What to say, like at each possible thing they might say, but, you know, we will get to that. All right. So when we need somebody, we want to set the appointment. You need to tell us something, or are you just happy?
Oh, the client, I have a client, like my rental client that I've been struggling for the last,
Yes, everybody,
Big
please
5
turn
weeks.
off things.
there's this property that just came into the market like right now. And I wanna go, I wanna go see it like tomorrow. Like they only have available for tomorrow, but I think this will be like the perfect property. for her.
Oh, good. Fingers crossed. We'll
I
say
know.
prayers.
I'm prepared, like I'm gonna prepare the application right now, so that way when I go show it, I just like,
I love you. That's what you do when, that's one of the things when you've lost out and
and I've already
there's
lost
no time to lose.
3 properties just for the fact that of the
Jason,
application.
I am so proud that you have come to that conclusion. Just do it. And the more you do it, the faster you get, so it's not as
Mhm.
burdensome. Okay, so we're gonna set the appointment, and then our 3 objectives at the appointment are learn, ask them questions to really get a sense of what they're looking for and where they'd like to be and why, going a little deeper. Because, as Sahai was sharing yesterday, I don't remember what was the podcast or whatever, but it was how you're not gonna sell a pen. You're gonna ask if the client what it is they want, and then you present the pen as the solution to what they want. So you're fitting, when you come up with properties, you could say, remember how you wanted enough room in the backyard to build a sandbox for your kids? This could really work. So you've got to do the digging to get the specifics, because it matters. It is their place. So you want to find out their hot buttons and special hopes and dreams, D of the 4, so that when you find properties, you connect the dots for them. Oh, this would work for, this has a mother-in-law suite or whatever. But that's how we serve them. We've got to listen. Pause. You must take a notepad with you in your consultation and take notes when they're talking. You're going to be nervous. You're not going to remember everything, and you want them to know you're really listening to them. Hi, Jana. So, anyway, we're finding out what they really want. We're
How they want to be communicated.
how they want to be communicated with, and that we're the right person for the job, and then we can sign that agreement. Okay. Now, so this just reiterates in this lead generation graphic. Okay, so we met somebody, we're doing lead generation. Our 2 big buckets are either prospecting or marketing, prospecting being face-to-face or voice-to-voice. Okay, so phoning, open houses, anywhere you are at a party where you're talking to people. Marketing, you blast it out and hope you'll get responses, but it's not guaranteed. Then once you have those conversations, a lead is somebody that you already know, and they're okay with you sending them real estate stuff. That's a contact. Leads are the new people you meet. And you're going to try to move them over, say 1, 2, 3, move them over there. But they live in your database, and they This is your universe, your pool of peeps. So then once we have them, what do? Well, we've got 4 through 8. And in the curvy line of the life cycle of home ownership, all of the time when you're going up the hill, you cultivating is keeping in touch, making sure they remember that you're in real estate. And yes, it's work, but smart plans can do a lot of the heavy lifting. And but ultimately, we want to set an appointment to either get them to agree to buy with you or sell their house. And then tomorrow, Cynthia Pierce is going to teach make and receive offers. And the active phase is these are phases that this is when you're looking for a house or your house is on the market. Here's where you actually go into contract, your contracts are signed, and there's a whole lot of stuff that happens between here and here, which we will cover in the contract to close class. So just it's our roadmap. Okay. We had talked about, so let's say you didn't try to set an appointment with people. They just said, oh, I want to go do this. Oh, okay, let's meet Saturday and we'll go running around. What could possibly go wrong?
You waste your time. But I do have a question.
But that's the answer.
I do have a question because sometimes, like, who was it? I think it was Sahai that she was saying that she has clients that they are pre-approved, they like are kind of iffy about signing the buyer brokerage agreement. But like as a strategy, wouldn't you use like, let me just go show them one property, and after that property, just be like, well, if you don't sign this, I can't show you one property.
There are many seasoned agents that take that approach.
Yeah.
And I will go, because very often they come to you with this one property they want to go see. And you say, okay, let's make a showing appointment and we'll do that. But at the end, after we've done this, we're gonna, set up an appointment to do the whole thing. I think if you would turn in your little script handout to page 17. And Marielle, would you read, I'm gonna read the objection and I want you to read the answer. And since you're masked, if you would at least face the crowd. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to sign anything. I may want to work with other agents.
When you engage me as your real estate sales representative and sign the buyer representation agreement with me, I am contractually obligated to share any information about the seller's situation that I find out. For example, if it is a divorce, relocation, or estate sale. Without that agreement in place, I am actually a sub-agent to the seller. That means that I do not represent you and I cannot share that information with you. I want to be your advocate, not theirs. Let's do the right thing and sign the buyer representation agreement today.
Wow. Okay. You're having, was it a wow?
Yeah,
That was
10
good.
minutes ago, before I walked in here, he asked me, why do I need to sign the agreement?
Page 17.
Yeah.
Dolores, what if I change my mind during this 30-day period?
I understand completely. Think of this agreement as a form of going steady, not a marathon.
I love these.
I love it.
If you decide at any time that you do not want to go steady anymore, we can just break up. There's no need for a divorce, and you can break up with me if I'm not meeting your expectations. If you feel comfortable with that, you can just okay the agreement with your initials.
Boy, that takes pressure off. Okay, Veronica, I can find a home on my own through the internet.
Searching for homes is the fun part, and we will certainly use the internet to find your home. Finding your dream home is not why you hire a buyer agent. You hire an agent to help you get the house you find.
To help you
Oh,
get
sorry.
the
To help
house you
get
find.
the house you find. My job is to protect your interests throughout the home buying process and negotiate on your behalf to get you the best price and terms.
Okay, y'all, that is like it. That is so important to internalize that response, because, I mean, without missing a beat, you need to be able to counter that. Your job is not to find them a house, it's to help them go under contract and get to the finish line, negotiate, guide them through the inspection, the appraisal, all this kind of stuff. As soon as you start throwing out those big words, they're gonna go, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Similar conversation to have with FSBOs, that it's not just about bringing a buyer, but then getting under contract and da-da-da-da-da. And they think that it's all about putting a sign in the yard and the people just come and magically you sell your house. So, okay.
Something I found interesting just in this last conversation
Mm-hmm.
with my client, he didn't like the word contract, and I shouldn't have used it. As
Agreement.
opposed to
Agreement, yeah.
agreement. When I said, it's just an agreement to blah, 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 and went into it, he's like, oh, okay, an agreement for you to help me find a house. That,
Sure.
yeah.
And
that little word.
and it's a brokerage engagement agreement. Any people in business, they understand engagement when you're hiring a consultant or something like that. So it's an engagement agreement.
I had a similar conversation. I said, it's not a contract, it's an agreement. I said, contract is what you want me to get you on your house.
Ah.
Good comeback, Alan. Good comeback.
Yeah.
Okay, Edgar, know when to let the buyer go.
I appreciate your decision. Since I can only work with buyers who work exclusively with me, I'll just have to wish you luck on your home search. Thanks again for coming in to meet with me today and let me know if you change your minds.
That is an acceptable outcome. Number one, you don't want to work with mean, ugly, rude people. But it's good to, in a similar vein, so you're meeting and they're just like, I just don't want to sign it, but this is your comeback. And if but I really want to see this house, you certainly could say, I am willing to show you one property. And then if you are satisfied with my services and want to continue working with me, I'll need you to sign this agreement. I don't know of anybody who hasn't eventually signed, when it's, because they once they see you in action, like, oh yeah, this is nice that I'm not carrying the full burden, this person's helping me. Okay, I'll save that thought. All righty, so if you don't, so we've read from these scripts that I thought that was fascinating, that you are effectively a sub-agent of the listing, of the seller, and that was really interesting. So y'all, you practice these. These are gold. All right, now let's look at, on page 13, Althea, would you read the second one, the buyer referral, willing to talk with you? And you could, I'm your buyer, Stacy.
Stacy, I'd like to invite you to come to my office so we can discuss what you are looking for in your next home and use my MLS to review properties. This way we can search for homes that fit your criteria. When we meet in my office, we can work together to make the most of our time, of your time. I can use the tools that I have to find the best matches for you and check for any contingencies and other details that would not be apparent from a property visit alone. Are weekends or weekdays better for you?
And our weekends or weekdays, y'all can come in, we have, gosh, I don't know, 6 or 7 conference rooms. Gotta make sure, you want one that definitely has a monitor up on the wall.
Oh, okay.
Although you can use your laptop, but, you make appointments on Saturdays, Sundays. Lots of agents meet people 5, 6, 7 in the evening. Just know that the doors lock. It really happens at about 5:50, and that's supposed to be 5 o'clock. So you gotta have your key fob. It's okay to prop the door open if you're expecting a guest. You know, once the doors are closed, it's really nice to put a little welcome, you know, just take a like cardstock or something, fold it longwise, and welcome Bob and Susie, whatever, you know, so that just makes them feel like, oh, they were expecting us.
Is there security in the building still?
24/7. There's somebody at that, and remember, there's, where, depending on where they come in, if the arm is down to the parking deck, just, they need to push the button to call security and they'll let them up. There is no cost to park in the parking deck. So, it is, yeah. Anyway, you may want to really, make sure that you can explain to somebody, how to get into the parking deck, how to get into the building, and how to find us. Okay? Because it's not obvious to visitors, you know? Okay, so we are, now, why? 2 things. The visit in the office, and we're gonna get to the actual buyer consultation that we can print out and give. What do you think those 2, how might those set you apart from other buyer's agents?
You have an office. Makes you look more professional. You have an upper hand, like, you know, my house, come on in.
Well, and with giving them the buyer consultation, and I'm going to highly recommend that you also give them a copy once you decided to go steady, a copy to take home of the purchase and sale agreement to go ahead and be reading. Number 1, they'll get super excited, then they'll get overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, but it's tying them to you because you are the one with the answers. And getting a blank purchase and sale is, and I'm gonna download one of the ones that has the watermark sample written on every page, and I will email that to y'all to use. That's what you want to give people. You don't want to give them one that doesn't have the watermark, so they can't take it and try to run with it. In case you don't know, only agents that have joined a board of realtors, can have access to the GAR forms, Georgia Association of Realtors forms. So there are people with licenses, not, usually it's the less busy ones, less frequent, and they'll just use these RE forms, real estate forms. So anyway, we have a duty to protect our GAR forms. I mean, we're all paying $450 a year or whatever to be a member of the boards, so we're not gonna just give out blank forms.
Question on that. Can't they buy the guard forms? We get them free, well, as a part of a membership, but can't others buy the guard forms?
Only if you are a member of the board. You have to have a NERDS number, you know, NRDS.
Yeah, okay.
To even get into the GAR website or to access the forms, you have to provide your NERDS number.
Okay. I thought,
No, you can buy them
yeah,
on from the GAR website if you have a NERDS number.
okay, I got it.
But you only have a NERDS number if you're,
Member of a board.
Yeah.
And all local boards sign you up with NAR, National Association of Realtors, and they're the ones that assign the numbers.
so just quick side question. If you're not a realtor and you get some off grant, like you just pick up some form, is it legal? Okay,
Well,
it's just not
to
official.
be a legal contract, you have to have a proper legal description of the property. And the realtors involved in the transaction, their license numbers must be on the contract.
By the way, thank you. You were teaching us that, to get the legal description, just send an email. I got that back in 5 minutes.
It's
I wasn't even
amazing.
ready.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, Jaima. I know Dolores, no, Thea read it, but how, we'll do the first one, buyer called on a property. Can you read that like, you're on the phone with somebody that's calling about your listing or something, or any property. First page of the script book.
Oh, first page?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I have to go back. So I have to read buyer called.
Buyer called on a property, and then I want you to read what comes next.
The property at 123 Maple Street is listed at $249,000. Let's schedule an appointment to see if 123 Maple Street is the perfect home for you. Will you be able to do it today at 4 p.m. or Saturday at 10 a.m.? Will be better for you?
Okay, would today at 4 p.m. or Saturday at 10 a.m. be better for you? That's kind of getting back to give them choices instead of don't ask when would you like to meet. You may get crickets. So 2 alternatives, and that's kind of going at the weekdays, weekend. And then, okay, blah, 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 and then continue.
Great, let's meet at my office, so while we're out, you can also review the properties on the multiple listing service on the MLS that you might be interested in if Maple Street isn't right for you. Does that work for you?
Okay, let's say Veronica lives in College Park, Tyrone. You met a buyer. How would you feel about inviting them to the office for a consultation? I'm acknowledging that you are not close.
Right. I would either do that or would be maybe at a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or somewhere where I could sit down at a table and get a coffee or some type of refreshment, cup of tea.
So I wanted to get to that, to acknowledge that depending on where in Metro Atlanta you are, it really could be an inconvenience to make somebody schlep to the office. It is the best, but we don't want to, really put somebody out. So we always say, oh, meet at a Starbucks. Well, that depends on how busy and noisy it is. Like, I wouldn't meet at a Starbucks on 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. They're packed, so be thinking about the coffee shop setting is, should work. You need to be able to sit and have a table, bring your laptop. You may have to use your personal hotspot if they don't have free Wi-Fi. It's not going to be as optimal, but it can work, okay? I cannot imagine if you meet somebody in Jefferson or Athens or something, you go, oh, let's drive to Atlanta to my office. I'm just, being real, Veronica.
Cool, you have a library? You have like little rooms that you can like run out?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. As long as the talking in the little room is permissible, absolutely.
I was gonna ask, is there any other place other than the coffee shop type situation or a restaurant that you could meet? And that's a good idea.
There, some of those, collaborative workplaces
Yeah.
like Rome,
Rework.
Yeah, we were.
Rework, that have, now, it might cost you to reserve. So I would be looking into what is, so here's the other thing. You have complete permission to meet at any Keller Williams office that is more convenient to you, as long as you reserve a conference room in advance. You don't just show up, and of course, you wouldn't be able to get in on the weekend because you don't have a key fob to their office. So if I were you, I would check out where the other Keller Williams offices are. Of course, the Rawls Group offices we do this all the time, but other ones, if you're KW and they're like, hey, would you have a conference room available at 5 on Wednesday? And it's either yes or no. It's not that they wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
And you say for a buyer consult, free, just be real polite.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, the other case, because then you're legitimizing. You're
I always
like,
did that in Nashville when he was like, I need an offer right now. And they were great. Like I went online to KW, something, one of the Facebook groups that I was in, and they're like, we have an office. You want to come here? You want to do this? What do you need? I got phone calls, messages. It was really nice.
it's fabulous. It is fabulous. And they, there's a difference between an agent that's visiting a city and they come in and they just want to take up your time, pick your brain, ask advice, versus an agent that comes in, I need to write an offer. Boom, they get into action and they, they want to help you do what you got to do, and so it's a very supportive family. So find out where they are, and right quick, I'll show you, because I do have it up. I'm gonna mess up my slideshow again. All right. Here we are in command. No, we're not. Well, I am, but y'all aren't. Get over here. Hello. Okay. I'm in command. I'm gonna click the red KW to reveal, and I'm going to go to the referrals. See that? Referrals. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to map. See up here at the top, map. And then I'm going to search for market centers. So I went to referrals, map, market centers, and then you just blow up, that's it. So, like there's one here in Peachtree City.
Yeah, so I thought about that when you said that.
Sorry, it's catching up with me now.
That it's closer, much closer.
You can't let them recruit you, but
Yeah.
come on. Come back to me. All right, while it's populating again. There we go. So I'm going to click on it, and look, there's the address. Now, it doesn't give the phone number of the office. You can Google it. KW Peachtree City. Boom, you'll get the phone number. Let's say, okay, here's one that's in Metro East. It's in Conyers, Here's one in, it's the northeast. It's in Snellville. Jason, that might be for you.
I'm sorry, where were we?
An office closer to you.
Oh, okay.
KW. If you
Here's
need to
one in
go to
Sugarloaf.
an office.
Okay, so enough of that. Resources. I'd love to give you resources. Okay. One of these days, I'm going to get a mouse pad for that podium. All right, so kind of got the feel, we know we need to set an appointment. We've talked about options of where to meet and the dialogues you can use to ask them.
I'm good. I'm just like, I'm gonna be on my tippy toes for like the next 48 hours.
Okay, all right. Okay, I gotta show y'all. So this morning, I was sitting out on my patio and just going through this one more time. What do you see up at the corner, and what do you imagine that is?
Corner?
Oh,
Timestamp? Oh, coffee.
I wasn't looking at the coffee cup when I picked it up the first time, and obviously it was full. I'm like, run into the house, get the paper towels. Lordy. So now I have coffee stained. All right, so we're going to go through the buyer consultation, but there are a couple of things. If everybody would access your email, please, because I sent you an email just a few minutes ago, and I want to show you these resources. So if you would look up at me when you open the email that I sent you.
Okay, the first one buyer for his 9-element script book or buyer lead sheet?
I just wanted you to open the email.
Oh, okay,
From 9:55, the buyer consultation, okay.
You see that, Anita?
okay.
I see the pre-listing.
It was,
Doing directions for prepping your budget.
okay, if you would go into your spam just in case.
We said 5 links.
Pull the bar down. Okay, click on spam. Well, that's odd. It says hooray no spam, and yet it says 57. Would you just look on with Marielle? Okay. So in the buyer consultation, which is you create in the designs applet, there are a couple of additional tools, and rather than, I want to tell you about the little tools before we get to the big presentation. Okay, so the first one I want you to tap on so that you can just see what it's about is,
Create a neighborhood.
no, not that one.
Signs.
Hold on. All right, how about, the fourth one down, manage a client consumer guide steps in command. Like, what the heck? So,
Which one did you say?
you know what?
That wasn't.
Never mind. I will show you and you can access the email later. Okay, so there's some preparation that you need to do, and this should be a one and done. And once you do it, you shouldn't have to do it again, okay? One, if you would, just open your KW app, and I just want you to look at one thing,
Kelly?
not Kelly, the one that's white background, red KW.
Okay.
And when you open it, down at the very bottom, you should see search, feed, guide, saved, and more. Tap on guide if you would. And you'll see you have two choices, buying or selling. Okay, who doesn't?
Okay, my KW,
The app.
Dolores,
you're
can
saying,
you look at me?
yes,
Mobile app on your phone.
oh,
Okay, so go to what again?
Are you in the mobile app?
Mhm.
At the very bottom, you see 5 words across the bottom. Tap on guide.
Oh, it says sign in or sign up.
I know.
You want to create an account with like a personal Gmail account, not your agent.
Okay.
Oh,
okay,
I
Kelly,
thought I did this first.
Stacy,
How are you tonight?
I have Kelly, is that what you're talking about?
No,
No, then
KW.
I don't have the KW app on my phone.
You still have to love us, Stacy.
What's
We're
up?
difficult this morning.
Okay.
I'm here, Stacy.
Go to the App Store
Okay.
and search
I
for
swear I did this too.
Keller Williams.
Okay. It shows you properties nearby and then it shows you the amount of that they're going
Oh,
for.
I see what it is.
Yeah.
Keller Williams Realty, and it's a white square with a red KW.
Yes.
Dolores?
Okay, not sure what I got.
So
Okay,
hi.
Keller Williams Mobile,
I got it.
No, I want you to help Dolores.
is that it? Oh, it's here.
Good work, huh?
Is that one?
Gosh, I thought we did
Okay,
this
Apple
earlier.
ID.
I know I did this. That's why I'm very frustrated because I have it on here.
I have my Apple ID.
If you want to, you can look on it.
Okay, let's stop.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at yours. Do you have it on your phone? Yeah.
You're just gonna have to trust me. And those that have it, when you tap on the word guide, there is a step-by-step guide to the process. Start your search. The first step in buying your new home is identifying the neighborhoods you want to live in, blah, blah, blah. Then you get pre-approved. Then you tour homes. Then you make an offer. Then you execute the contract. Then you do a home inspection. Then you buy property insurance. You might get a home warranty. And then you go to closing. Now, this is the generic guide that comes pre-populated in your phone. But you might want to add a step or change the wording of one of the steps, like execute contract, I would probably say something like go under contract or, you know, something like that. So when you say, well, how can I, what?
Is this for us or is this for clients? Because we got a client from that.
The mobile app is for clients.
Okay.
The reason you need to have it on your phone is so you know how to use it and can explain it to people.
Gotcha.
So, but you need to know the features, and one of them is the guide. And I'm gonna now show you where to go in command. If you wanna change some of the wording, you can change the order, and there's one for buying and then there's one for selling. And you can actually set up, well, I mean, the purpose of having this guide is so, you know, that instead of, what happens next, it's right here, you know. So it's reassuring them, communicating, making sure that they're, know what's coming next. Okay, so I will show you in command. So I'm gonna go to consumer, whoops, gotta put you over here again. Okay. From the homepage, gonna go to consumer. And at the top of the page, Althea, this should look familiar. Agent site, these are your website, this is your website. Landing pages, we created one yesterday for a sign-in sheet at an open house that actually puts the contact, the people that came to your open house, it actually creates a contact for them in command for you. And then guide builder. So this is where you would go. So anything that is consumer facing, you find under the consumer applet. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's click on the three dots, edit, guide. I'm doing the buyer. Now, I haven't done this in a while, but I know that in command, as a general rule, if you grab the brick, you can, that enables you to move things. Now, to actually change the text, let me just, okay. So it handles it like the widgets when we did the landing page out there. On the left is the finished product, and you make your changes on the right. So instead of execute contract, I might say, go under contract. And you can give a little subtitle here, and then you got to remember to save. Let's see if it changes my, go under contract. Okay, so the basic two steps, if I wanted to change this verbiage, I just click on the tile. I would go over here and change the verbiage. You can change the photo. You can replace the photos and then click save. And if I wanted to move it, I would just grab the brick and move it. And I don't think you have to, oh, and you can add a step, but I don't think you have to click save when you have, when you do a move that's done.
Would it be okay if you switch the what I can afford and then start your search?
Yes, ma'am. That was my number one thing. I'm so glad you pointed that out.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, we want the pre-approval stuff
Right.
first.
There's no reason I'm searching if we don't even know what you can afford.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm switching.
Yes, ma'am. There we go.
I have a question. Is there a way, which I don't know, is this app allowing the user to choose a language? Because like most of my clients speak Spanish, I don't speak English at all.
Excellent question. I'm gonna have to answer that after class. I don't know. Is there another app that is in Spanish?
No, but usually apps or websites, they,
Have a translate button feature?
yeah, they will ask you which language are you choosing. But that would be excellent.
I'll have to find out. If not, they will. They will. Okay, so that was the guide that's in your app, and to move the steps around. So it's easy peasy. You just got to know where to go to do it. Now, I'm going to designs now. And one of the ways, one of your value proposition type. Okay. There are things called neighborhood snaps. It is just hey, as of this minute, there are this many houses on the market, a bunch of, stats. But the fact that you can create them real quick is a groovy thing. So I'm going to do, you can do neighborhood snaps for social posts. All right, so I'm gonna click that, I'm gonna do plus. Don't worry about the exact steps right now. I'm just demonstrating so you go, we can practice together at another time. All right. I'm gonna hit lead generation. Gotta find where they are. Maybe. Here we go. So under the buyer, heading over here on the left, neighborhood snap, click. Okay, and it shows them in the different social media formats. So let's say I'm gonna do social square, which would be Instagram. And I'm gonna pick this one. And it brings it up. Okay, I have already, and we're gonna do this also. I've added some headshots of myself to my brand kit. We'll do that. And I have, let's see, logos. I've already preloaded some TWAP logos there. But anyway, we need to get everybody's designs brand kit organized. You know what? I'm going to go to home. So we use this company called WeBrand, which is Canva Lite. And let's see, mine is my assets. I'm going to assets. And here, oh goodness, you can just say how you want it to be, what anyway, all right, sorry, back to here, back to the neighborhood snaps. And we're doing social square, and we're doing this one. And so how do you make it? So with anything in designs, pretty easy. I'm just waiting for that red band to go away. Hey, I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna go over. Guess I'll use this one, and I'm gonna click this little icon that says replace logo, and woohoo, there's our office logo. So this is not a designs lesson per se. I just wanted you to know about, let's see, garden bills. Okay, I can't, when I've done it before, there was an obvious place where you put the name of the neighborhood and then whizbo, bang, all the numbers update. That's what's supposed to happen, and I didn't practice this because it's changed since the last time I did this.
I have a buyer question. So during the consultation, presentation, when you ask a client how often he would like to be, my client, he's texting me right now. I just told him, hey, I'll be in the meeting and we're gonna meet on Friday and I can look at what you're asking me to and blah, blah, blah. I talked to him on Monday. He called, he messaged Michelle this morning and Michelle just forwarded it to me and I said, hey, so kind of talked about this, we're gonna get this together for you and talk to me. He goes, oh, I just hadn't heard anybody from anyone in a couple of days. I talked to him on Monday. Today, I think today's Wednesday. How do I manage people? How do I manage the expectations of?
Then even prior to your meeting with him, you may need to at least ask, okay, between now and our meeting, and you set the meeting on Monday?
I set the meeting today. Today I set the meeting for
Okay.
Friday.
When you talked to him on Monday, what was the end of that conversation?
We talked about the agreement, the contract, and I asked him had he gotten it. He said no. So part of the problem too is he had a stroke. So he has to kind of catch up when he's talking to me. So there's kind of a.
Okay, but we've got to keep class going. Let's get to the.
Sorry. So I just told him, hey, yes, I'm working on this for you. You're seeing things on Zillow that, I'm gonna help you. And I sent him, he's getting an email every day that he's not opening. He doesn't open the listing emails that he's on, which I asked him about that again on Monday, because I set it up on Sunday. I asked him about it on Monday. I just asked him about it today. And he says, oh, I saw that there was a link, but I didn't open it.
So you were communicating with him every day?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I didn't talk to him yesterday.
No, but you sent him an email.
Yes.
The system sent him an email.
Yes.
Anita, what would you say to a client like this to set expectations between, okay, we're gonna work with you, and it's gonna be 4 days till the meeting. So, because it sounds like he's expecting a phone call every day.
Yeah, maybe a different form of communication.
Okay, I need a. Well, what would you ask him? Because we're not going to tell him. You're not going to hear from me until Friday. So we always ask. So hi.
What's the best form of communication for you, or what's the best way that I can get these or show you this information, I guess, instead of like trying to tell him, look at this. It's like, how can you receive this properly?
Yes, I think with definitely the asking is great. I think with the did you tell him you were going to be sending him listings every day?
Yes, ma'am.
And that he would need to access his email and click on the link?
I didn't tell him he needed to click on the link because
I know. Hello, we know
Yes.
that not everybody, it's not intuitive to everybody. So as basic as it sounds, that's why when we all created the search for new quack listings, and because I wanted you to get that introductory email and just pretend like you're a client, and because you do have to explain to them, just like in the buyer consultation, you're going to be explaining how to download and use the mobile app. I know, it's really, so normally when you set someone up on a search, an FMLS search, and they're getting an email, and you just in case they didn't get it, you know, you're gonna get listings to look at in your inbox every day. And actually, they can even mark if something's a favorite, and you can go in and look at it. We're not gonna do that today. But this is where you kind of gotta figure out if somebody is like an auditory learner and they need a phone call. Most are not like this gentleman.
Yeah, I'll just put them on my calendar and call them at 8 a.m. every morning.
No, I wouldn't do that. Well, what you can do, does he acknowledge text?
Yes.
Okay, then you could text him and say, John, I just sent you, you know, a listing to look at.
That's what I did.
You know, I would have one phone call to explain to him, okay, I will be sending you listings every day. You will have to click on the link where it's blue, where it turns blue and it's underlined. Click on that and you will see the home. I would do an explanation first,
Okay.
but then after that, I would just remind him, I sent you something today. Check your email.
Okay.
You know?
I will.
And also,
I love that, Dolores.
So
That
you
was
can
a
tell the
great
tenant-
suggestion.
That's what I did.
Yes.
on top of that, which is amazing, you also got tell them when they get in the portal, because that's their personal portal. They don't have to call you, because that happens to me in the beginning. They call me, oh, I want this house. I'm like, no. You click, like, it's just like Facebook. Everyone has Facebook. They know how to like something. In your portal, you like it, and you can even make a comment.
Mhm.
And you tell them, I am busy, we're all busy, I have a schedule in my day to go into the portal. If you send these emails in the morning, you can tell them, you have the whole day to look at those emails. In the afternoon, I will get into your portal and I will take a look at your notes and the houses you like. And then we can talk about it. That's another, because that's there, and that helps a lot.
It really, but if you don't set that
That's it, right.
expectation, they're gonna be the jumping beans, and I like this, and they're blowing up
You
the
be
plane.
like, just like it, I can see it. You do it there, I can see it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you have to pamper a lot.
I'm so glad we're talking about this, because this is real life,
Yeah.
And they drive
And-
you crazy.
and they don't know, you know, if they're,
Right.
They feel like you're their personal
Well, right,
assistant.
Yeah.
Some people have called me for things that have nothing to do with real estate.
oh my goodness. Okay,
Thank you for that.
y'all, since I have failed at the neighborhood snap in terms of how to do it, but I will master that. I am gonna just show you how we're gonna go into, the buyer consultation template. But then we're gonna talk about the pages, talk about the content. But anyway, so I'm in designs, and I chose a print item that I wanted to add. So buyer, and then right here, buyer presentation. And there are, I think that there are, looks, okay. Usually I go letter size 8.5 by 11, and it looks like you've got 5 styles to choose from. Guess what? The insides are all the same. It's your personal preference about what you like as far as the cover sheet. So, okay, this is a modern, classic, approachable, classic, and modern. So there are 2 different moderns, 2 different classics, and one called approachable. All right, I will just, so one of those answers.kw.com that's in your email gives you the step-by-step, here's how you modify your buyer consult. And first, you add the pages. See up here, there's a grid, and then a plus for add page. So the first step, I mean, I would just add them all, you can take them out. And once I've gone through all this, like this is an instruction page, so anyway, you're adding them all, and then you're you'll be done with that thing, and then you'll go into editing. And just like anything, here's a box. Okay, now I can change the verbiage in there. When you are finished, you also go ahead and give it my buyer consult template, whatever, give it a name. And if I didn't have this here, we could download it. This, like with any social post you're creating, share it on Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. Anyway, so would y'all like to have a 1 hour workshop of trying to, well, I knew 2 of you that were gonna say it, on actually editing? Okay. Great. All right.
Any workshop on command.
Yes.
Anyone.
All right. So. All right. Now, so we're going to go back to, and this is going to go quickly. Let me see. So this was just what I did. You know, I went in, I said I'm going to add, I'm going to create a print. All right, so all of the versions have a table of contents, and I don't know if you can read this. Start off with your dream home, your preferences, your neighborhood, buying 101, at your service, my promise, and glossary. Everything in the consultation template is editable. If you do change something, you gotta go back to the table of contents and change that so it matches. That was one little oops that people sometimes forget. So, before we have this workshop, we're gonna have some prep work because I want you to come with the tools. And let's see. For instance, okay, I'll kind of name them as we go through. Here we go. Okay, so your needs come first. That is absolutely, it's interesting, in the table of contents it says your dream home, but they wisely start off with, let's talk about your dream buying experience. So fourth time I've sneezed today. Okay, visualize your dream scenario for buying your home. What's the one thing that has to happen to make that dream a reality? Dream scenario or reality, how can I make that happen for you? What you're gonna do is you're gonna print this out, and we can do different formats. We can put it in little coily binds. It can be a teeny binder. We'll talk about that at the workshop, but so you're gonna let them kind of hold this and flip through it as we go. So the text is written as if you are talking to them. So it's, you know, and I'm telling you, when you get through this thing, they're thinking, wow, this agent, they really want to help me. I'm telling you, nobody else does this. Nobody. Okay. So we start off with, it's all about them. Then we start asking those questions about, you know, how do you want to be communicated with? Is there a particular time of day? Because depending on if people do shift work or something, they're a nurse, they can't take calls 7 to 7, so it's got to be after 7 p.m. You know, the more questions you ask, the less frustration. So I encourage y'all to read through all these questions and you'll go, aha. So you actually are gonna ask them these questions while they're holding the booklet. And of course, you don't have to ask every single one. But because this is their take home, their party favor, you know, it's gonna stimulate more thoughts for them. Okay, so here's where if Althea's client had, if she had not started him on something and they got to the meeting, this might have resolved everything. But,
Yes.
but it happens the way it happened for you. That was normal. Okay, now, let's say you meet a woman and you don't know that she's married or has a partner, and she's just talking about, I want to do this, but never uses we, so you don't know. And she agrees to an appointment and comes, and then you ask the questions on this page, like, who will be living in this home? And that's the fair housing way to not ask about, do you have any kids? Don't do that. And she up and says, oh, my husband and I. Okay, before you make an appointment with anybody, you need to ask who all will be decision makers in this transaction. Because when we meet, I really need to meet with all the decision makers. So that's, hope it, yes?
My decision maker, it is my client and his mother. His mother lives in Florida. I'm dealing with the sister on the phone. So do I just do it all
Zoom.
together?
Zoom.
Heard.
Okay. All right. I love this question at the bottom of the page. When people visit your home, what do you want it to say about you? Not everybody thinks like that, but I do. And I love hosting parties and, you know, having a bunch of people over, hostess with a mostess. And so I like a big room where a lot of people can gather. And so anyway, these are, read through this. This is when you're wondering, what do I say? What do I ask them? Here it is. Here it is. I like this one. Are there any specific features that would make your next home feel instantly like home?
Oh, hey,
You know, I mean, these are good. And will you require accessibility options? You know, do you want a house in move-in condition, or are you willing to do some work on it? Now, if your client is already chatty and they're just telling you all this stuff, don't ask them a question they've already answered. So you may not need to ask the questions because they may be just volunteering what they're looking for, okay? But you need to study the content of this so that you make sure you get the answers to everything, if it's appropriate. Applicable, I mean. Let's see. It is important that there's reference here, non-negotiables and like your top 5 must-haves. It is very, very, very common that well, first of all, it's a husband and wife, they're not gonna agree on the same 5, just saying. So you do the best you can to navigate that. You can get 3, you know. And then they're gonna start sending, so you set them up on a search and you're meeting what they said they must have. And then they start sending you listings from Zillow that don't meet all the top 5, and you're, you know, what about the fenced-in backyard? You know, that you said you had to have. So with time, you're going to learn that even though they say it must have a fenced-in backyard, you know good and well you can add a fence later, okay? You know, you're not gonna tell them that, but you just gotta know. You're gonna learn the difference between what can't be changed about a property. Like if the backyard just floats off and they say, no way, you really can't change that.
Yeah.
But things like a fence, or they want a front porch, it doesn't have one. You can build one.
Right.
You can remodel and add a little something. So it is normal that they tell you what they want, but they're sending you and so rather than getting frustrated, say, oh, what about this property do you really like? Just ask them, what about it do you like? And then, does it bother you, instead of, what I want to do is argue with them and say, yeah, but it doesn't have 3 of your top 5 must have. Does it bother you that it doesn't have a basement? They're either gonna go, oh, I didn't realize it doesn't have a basement, or, well, I guess then that's not a deal breaker for me. Believe me, it is a process of self-discovery with your buyers. They very rarely are they we know exactly what we want, clear cut, bing, bong, let's go find it. It will evolve, and don't let that ruin your day. It will evolve, and they may change, and you just keep asking, what do you like about this? Does it bother you if it doesn't? Don't use the word criteria, or I mean, you can call it must-haves or whatever. But
Really
and then the
narrows
other.
it down for you.
Say again?
I said it really narrows it down. Like over time, you pinpoint exactly what they want.
Oh, and they will tell you the price. Oh my gosh. No matter what somebody's qualified for, they may choose not to buy all the way up to the top of their budget, perfectly fine. And they'll say, oh, we don't want to go over 400. And they're sending you properties for 450 and 460.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that tells you that they will budge.
And so, but you've got to, I still would start off with, what did you like about this property? Because you have to help them figure out that either they made a mistake in picking that out, or they need to change their criteria. It is one or the other. And then of course, it's also fun when they send you things and they're already under contract, but it doesn't say that in Zillow. That's fun too.
Yeah.
If you, the data that they will get on our mobile app is current with MLS. Now, it is true that a property can go under contract and the agent may take 12 hours to update. But at least it is straight from FMLS. So, guiding them to using our sources of information. Have you ever had that, Dolores?
Yeah, and then, but going back to when you were saying they're giving you a price range, but they're showing you higher.
Or outside of their zone.
You can say something like, okay, this doesn't fall within your guidelines or specifications, but there's some features obviously that you like. Maybe you can get them to point out what it is, because it might just be the kitchen, not so much the price
The
range.
whole thing, right,
Yeah,
right. That's why I just think it's softer if you ask them what they like first, then gently remind them that it doesn't fit. Because, you got to keep them wanting to work with you. So, hi?
Would you suggest that we advise our buyers or sellers to go to that KW app or the Kelly app? Either one?
Excuse me, Kelly is only for agents to use. It's not available for consumers.
Okay, so
They wouldn't even be able to, because you have to have a KW login. So, yes.
The KW app is free there.
White with a red KW.
Okay.
Another thing that I just did was the couple in Chicago that are selling a house and wanting to move down here. They gave me a number of what they wanted, you know, wanted to spend in terms of a price range. But what the wife gave me in terms of what she wanted something 5 years or less. And she was really focusing on 55 and over active communities. So what I did was a search and pulled up a listing of all 55 communities and emailed that to him so he could look at them. And I asked him if he got it. And he said, yeah. He said, but I noticed we might have to increase our budget. And I didn't even mention price. I just sent them all the 55 and over communities.
And let them
self-discover that it's going to be more than what you said. See, I think what it is, he's thinking, we're in Chicago, we're high priced, you know, you're in Atlanta, I should be able to get everything dirt cheap.
Much less,
Once upon a time.
Yeah, that used to be the case one time, that's not the case now. So I just sent him the list and he looked through it and he said, after looking at it, he said, I see, we might have to increase our budget. And I didn't say a word, I never mentioned the price, I just sent him all the over 55
Send him the data.
communities.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm glad you shared that. That's right. So you have been warned, every buyer's gonna do this to you. They're gonna tell you in your meeting what they're looking for and what their budget is, and then they're gonna send you stuff that they find online. And it's either wrong location, wrong price, doesn't meet their criteria, or is already under contract or sold. And you know, you're gonna go through it, and it's an education process. I wanted to go back one step because I wrote down, this great question. Yes. This one says, if I found a home today that checked all of your boxes, could you see yourself making a move sooner rather than later? I guess that would be if they said they weren't in a hurry, but this is better. Here's mine. If we found the perfect house tomorrow, would that be too soon? I love that. If we found the perfect house tomorrow, would that be too soon? And, you know, they may just chuckle, but to me, it says, I'm going to work for you, and are you an A buyer or not? Of course, you don't say that, but that's, you really, really want to verify that they are an A buyer. Okay. All right, so we talked about, and y'all read these questions. They are, you know, do you have a preference for the year the house was built? Althea's client, you know, wants a newer. All right. Now, here, this is definitely an optional page. Not only because I couldn't do it, but that's user error. Sometimes when you meet with somebody you don't know, and these are neighborhoods according to nextdoor.com nomenclature. I live in Autumn Chase, but my nextdoor.com neighborhood is called Barfield. So if they are very specific and they know, I want to live in Hanover West, or I want to live in Morningside, or something, great, do something like this. But you may not know before you get to the appointment. So, you know, optional. But the point of this is, say, oh, you mentioned at the open house that you were interested in X and Y, and I just wanted to do a little side-by-side comparison for you. All of this is just proving your value. So it's a nice to have, not a must have in this consultation. Okay, the process. Now, here again, and we will modify this when we do a workshop, because it says partner with an agent and then get pre-approved. And Rule's gonna swap that. And we're gonna do the pre-approved first. And we find it, and then we negotiate, make an offer, negotiate. So, and like they say, choose a title company. We don't choose title companies. I may have mentioned this, but like 45 out of 50 states are title states, and the others are, they call them escrow, and they're actually closed by title companies, and the us five, the minority, are, we close at attorneys' offices. Texas is an escrow state, so their verbiage, it fits their way of doing things, which the majority of the country is that way. So we will modify this so it works for us. Okay.
So we're title, I got lost. So we're.
We are not a title state. We're a, what do you call it?
Warranty, no.
Oh, I know what
not
you, I
exactly.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Something with the deed.
Yeah, they teach us that in school.
Security?
Maybe.
Like,
It was time theory and lane
it's the-
theory, lane theory, wasn't it?
It
Oh,
really
that wasn't
doesn't,
the
it doesn't
exam.
matter.
yeah, they
It's just
teach us that
It
in
wasn't the
school.
exam.
that when you read the stuff that Keller Williams puts out, and you're like, I don't think that's the way we do it in Georgia. It's because it was written in Texas, and they do it differently, not just Texas, but all the states, and the majority of the states use escrow companies, that sort of thing. Okay, really look at, this is one of the pages I want you to, you don't want anything on here that you're not gonna do. This is sort of like, I bet when Terry was teaching the listing appointment, she may have made reference to a 14-point marketing plan, something like that. This is like your 14-point buying plan, and if it's not something you're gonna do, you don't wanna put it in here. See what's about to hit the market. Well, that's pretty vague, but don't promise it if, so we're gonna really make sure that we're doing all this stuff. All right, not gonna talk about that. Now,
And all of these are what you sent us, those links that you sent us. The step-by-step is in those links. Okay.
yeah, the one on, that should say the buyer consultation, that's this.
I left my glasses today, so I can barely see.
Okay. This one is tough for new agents because you don't have a lot of work experience and blah, 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 all this stuff. And it calls first, I've been in the business 15 years. I've served a total of 268 clients. We can come up with stats for our office, the Rawls Group, something. So do not let this.
Does that have to be there?
I don't think so. And I like the verbiage, the text. When you choose to work with me, you're partnering with a trained agent, not necessarily experienced, trained agent that has the backing of the world's largest real estate company, consisting of 180,000 plus associates around the globe. That puts your search in the hands of the largest, most resourceful real estate network. And by choosing to partner with me and the Keller Williams family, you gain access to a suite of technology, keeps you informed, blah, blah, blah. Keller Williams was built on a simple yet revolutionary principle. People are what matter most. To help cement this understanding, we formalized a belief system that guides how we treat each other and how we do business. And then we have our Y4C2TES. This is old. This guide was produced before the E for equity was added to this, and so on command, it's there. So yes, we'll see if we can just take out that box altogether. Okay. I wanted you to go real quickly to In your scripts booklet, and we are barreling towards the end. And Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
on the first page of the scripts, I want you to enthusiastically read the welcome to the buyer presentation.
Can I get a scripts booklet?
There's a stack of them on the back.
There's no
I took
more.
the last one.
Oh, we're all here today.
Shot, thank you.
All right. Enthusiastically. Jason.
Buyer's name. Thank you for letting me.
Just say Fred or something.
Okay, Stacy, thank you for letting me help you. My goal is to give you a 10 plus customer service experience. To do that, I would like to get a clear idea on what you're looking for in your new home. So, with your permission, I would like to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes explaining what the right home for you will be like. Well, we'll call this your 10 plus home. With your permission, I would like to write notes as well as we go along, so I remember everything that's important to you. It may seem like a lot, but I'd rather ask you 500 questions now and show you the right 5 homes than ask you 5 questions and waste your time showing you the wrong 500 homes. Does that work for you?
Okay, did y'all hear that?
That's great.
That is a great, I mean, that says it all there about, that's why we're doing this. Jaima, would you? Hey, we're all, not we're all, but several of y'all are gonna practice saying this, okay? Would you do it?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
like this actually would be very good.
The welcome to the buyer presentation, yeah, the last.
Okay, but go ahead,
Oh,
I'm the
yeah.
buyer, no, Jaima's gonna
Oh.
say it.
Hi, Stacy, thank you for letting me help you. My goal is to give you a 10 plus customer experience. To do that, I'd like to get a clear idea on what you're looking for in your new home. So with your permission, I would like to spend the next 20, 30 minutes exploring what the right home for you would be like. We'll call this your 10 plus home. With your permission, I'd like to write notes as we go along, so I remember everything that is important to you.
So what are you gonna bring to the consultation? A notepad, yeah.
It may seem quite a lot, but I'd like to ask you 500 questions now and show you the right 5 homes than ask you 5 questions and waste your time showing you the wrong 500 homes. Does that work for you?
Okay, y'all like it?
Yes.
All right. Now, so the guidebook itself, the consultation book, then leads you through what you're gonna ask them about, what makes for a great experience. Let's talk about how we're gonna communicate, and then let's talk about what you want in a home. We had pages on that, but that is a great way to start off the appointment. And so practice. Okay. The next, I wanted to share one thing I wrote down back to the home, how buying a home works, which we want to make sure it parallels what our guide says on our app, that it's the same sequence, similar verbiage. It's like, oh yeah, she said that in the consultation. I love this line. A buyer who knows what to expect is a confident buyer. And a confident buyer is easier to work with than an anxious buyer who mentions objections throughout the process. So, I thought that was a worthwhile nugget. Okay, So we have welcomed them, and then we're playing off the buyer consult itself to guide the conversation. And then we're gonna get to the point we've gotten through, and now we wanna ask them to sign the buyer representation agreement. All right. And we talked at the beginning about why that's important. So let's go to your page 15 in the scripts book. And we're gonna just read out loud the close for agreement. Sahai, would you read the nothing in italics, just the ask for the business.
Okay, wait, where is that?
15?
Sorry, it's 14. Sorry, miss.
Okay. All I ask in exchange for my superior customer service promise is that you agree to work with me exclusively. Does that sound fair? The response.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can we sign and shake on that? The response.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so that is just, asking, can we sign? And then, but if they're, all of these are different options, use what feels right at the time. Anita, would you read closing the buyer representation agreement number 1?
What we're going to do now is sign the buyer representation agreement, which puts me to work for you. You're giving me the tool I need to represent you in your purchase. With this tool, I have the opportunity to negotiate for you and get you the best deal. And getting the best deal is important to you, isn't it? Perfect. Then let's do the right thing. Sign the buyer representation agreement and put me to work for you.
I actually don't like the part that says, let's do the right thing.
Ditto. I don't like it either. I know. I'm with you. I feel the same way. I'd say scratch it. It's your choice. Just perfect.
Yeah.
Then let's sign the buyer representation. My sensitivities align with yours.
You can just say, let's move forward.
Yeah. Alan, would you read closing the buyer representation agreement number 2?
Can you see how it would benefit you to have a professional looking out for your best interest as you search for the best home, negotiate, get the best deal? Great. This form allows me to represent you and look out for your best interest. Here's how we take care of that. You just need to okay this agreement right here.
Okay.
And my car won't start unless you sign it.
Now, so in after we prepare our consults, we'll actually practice. So essentially, you have a welcome. We set the appointment. You have a welcome. You go through the consult. You get them to sign the agreement. You're always going to, with every client meeting, tell them what's going to happen next. That makes them feel good. Okay, and usually you're setting an appointment to go look at houses, unless they haven't gotten pre-approved. But that is just a fantastic customer service, good customer experience practice to develop in yourself. Always tell them what's coming next. So then they always know you're one step ahead of them. Yay! So usually it's, okay, so what we're gonna do next, what I'm going to do next, and yay team, and then everybody's excited and you question? Okay. I had another thing. Oh, wait, before you tell them that, after they've signed, and really you could do this, it's flexible when you do this. You want to make sure that they have downloaded the mobile app. Yes, they'll have to create a login, which is name and email, right? And so I want you to practice sharing your mobile app with friends and family so that when you get to a buyer consult, it's just rolls off the tongue. No problemo, oh yes, I've done this a million times, so hi.
The biggest thing that I kind of come into like a problem, going forward in the process with the buyer is like the financing part, so getting them pre-approved, because it's like, that takes the longest, it feels like, because they procrastinate on their part, and then once it gets to the lender, sometimes the lender will take his time. And it's like, I just
Okay.
feel like I lose so much time.
You do. Back to the A, B, and C buyer,
Yeah,
which pretty sure you missed that class.
yeah.
Can anybody explain why we like to figure out if they're an A, B, or C, and Doris?
Well, you just really want to know what you're working with. You can spend a lot of time with someone who is not ready to buy or can't buy. That's why we want to get them to the lender and get them pre-qualified, because they will tell you, everything's fine. When the lender gets with them, it's a whole nother story. Or something will come up that they weren't aware of or they forgot about on their credit. There's a whole lot of stuff.
I mean, some agents will not do a buyer consult with somebody that hasn't been pre-approved.
Yeah, I won't either.
Okay.
That's
so-
why, like, I get stuck, like, you want to have that meeting and tell them, okay, the next step is this, but it's like, it's hard to get to that next step when they don't even do the first one, which is get pre-approved.
We gotta find you a better pool to fish in.
But some people
Pond.
some people don't know how to get approved. Maybe you need a bar consultation to guide them and give them some lender.
I love that.
Because
I give them lender information in an email, and then I even include in that email, they're probably gonna ask you to provide these forms, so get this ready. And then it's like 5 days pass and we're at the weekend, and I'm like, did you do anything you were supposed to do during business days? And no, I'm gathering everything. Then another 3 days.
You know what?
goes by.
They're not in a
hurry to
buy. They're not in a hurry.
They're not an A, yeah.
And that doesn't mean that they're not your client, that's just.
They're not your right now client, they're later on. Right, and you will always be juggling the right nows and the later ons.
Yeah.
So we
That's how
gotta
you
get you
feel
some
your
right
pipeline.
nows.
And then the other
That's how you fill your pipeline.
Exactly.
Another thing though is, as you put down those things that they need to gather, they themselves disqualify themselves because they know some things about themselves. Oh, they're going to find this out. Oh, they're going to, I had, on one of my listings, I had the buyer pre-approved, it wasn't my buyer, but we had the contract. The buyer had been approved with conditions. There were some conditions that he had to meet. And the next thing I know, the agent was sending me a thing saying that the buyer had withdrawn his offer, and of course my seller got the earnest money. But I guess I said what it is with those pre-approved, he had to prove something he said and he couldn't. He said something that wasn't the truth and he had to prove it. The lender was asking for documentation and he couldn't come up with it.
I know, people don't wanna face the fact that
They just end up wasting other people's time.
And that particular seller got 2 earnest monies
Wow.
while we had her property listed. Actually one was on one property. She got the second one on the other property.
Those 3 months
And-
right there.
Yeah. She was making money.
For the bus.
wow. Now, Jaima, I liked the sentiment of what you were saying of, maybe if they don't know what to do. But Sahai, you feel like you are telling them what to do and it's their motivation that's amiss.
Maybe it's,
Well, not everybody likes emails,
Yeah.
likes to read them, likes to open them.
Yeah.
One thing, a suggestion,
Okay.
I shared with all of you, 3 lenders plus Keller Mortgage. You really can let the lenders do the heavy lifting
Yes.
of delivering the bad news about what they've gotta dig up and submit.
Okay.
But what I would recommend is, and I think I've done this on Matt Lip's, no, I didn't. Let's add their websites So that then you just share the contacts with them in their phone, it's digital. More people are more apt to do something if it's in their phone than you're sending it, I mean,
So share the lender contact information, so all they gotta do is just call
But-
instead of reading through an email.
yes, however, most of the lenders, I mean, this is their job to talk to people that need to be pre-approved. But when they're really busy, they'll say, can you go to my website? Because it just talks you through there. So, experiment.
And I've heard the suggestion too of having an email with you, your client, and CC your lender,
Yeah,
and have at least
The virtual introduction.
Yeah,
yeah,
and then the lender picks that up because that's their money too.
yeah.
And
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's
I
a-
know we can do a conference call too,
Mhm.
get on the phone with the lender and the client, that's work.
But,
And I like-
but really you're gonna have to, if they're not motivated enough to get their ducks in a row,
Yeah,
it's not the best use of your time. Maybe later on, but I do think that giving them things through their phone can be more effective than an email.
That's a good idea. I'll do that.
Yes.
Okay, so what I wanna ask, all right, of all this stuff we talked about, the ahas, we did that, we went through, whoops, yes. I know everybody's brain dead. What's something you learned when you wanna know, what do I say in the buyer consultation?
This is my new Bible.
You got your scripts and you got the guide itself.
I like using the term the agreement versus the contract.
Yep,
That's gonna
much
be-
softer.
Yeah.
Much softer. Did anybody know about the buying and selling guides that are right there in the app?
No,
And
because
it's-
I didn't even have the app, so you know.
And that's a great idea though, I like that.
Yeah.
well,
Mhm.
See, we're providing value,
And
they're never
ease.
gonna leave you, yeah.
So
So,
many different ways to get to the same thing.
Yeah, like literally easy, like it makes it an easier, more enjoyable process than like, oh, I'm going to buy a home and I gotta do paperwork, like, look at this fun app.
and let me tell you, every single house that they just click on,
Yeah.
you get a little ding in their contact in command, and it says, looked at 123 Main Street. So you know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, repeat, every day they're going back to look at this house. I mean, yes, it's a form of stalking. What can I say?
Yeah, but that's what
it's
Facebook and everything does, they stalk you.
exactly.
You know?
So, yes, it will, we'll have to figure out a good way of saying that other than
Right.
stalking. But as you use this app, I'll be able to see,
Yeah.
some of your
That's helpful.
preferences, because they can create their own search. They can create collections of, they can add collaborators, meaning,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
it is
so
groovy.
Those are the Pinterest boards.
So to tie that in, I need to swallow it. So when they load the app, which I'm gonna give Stephen on Friday, so they've got the app, do they put my information in there and that's how I get it?
They're gonna create their own account,
Yes.
name, email address. You're only going to share them the app that's branded to you. So click on the more, okay? And there you are, you are your agent. You're going to text that to whomever, and that code right there makes it an Althea Burnett Keller Williams mobile app.
Okay, what
Yes.
did you just show her?
All right, at the bottom of the page, yes,
I've got some more.
got to more, okay, now, is yours branded to you, let's see.
I just searched.
Ethical buyer.
No, we're gonna find an agent, and you're gonna, type your name, please. Yes, you are.
Cause I never got transferred.
Okay, now,
Okay, tap on your name there, and now you are your agent. I know it's weird for the agents themselves. Okay, you don't need to. Great. No, you don't have to do that, then we'll go back, and now, back. Check.
more clear, or you just wanna go back?
And is the was the kid of it or Kelly?
KW. Kelly is only for red.
KW.
Mm-hmm. And how do you connect it to you? Brand it to you?
Somehow it didn't save, so I'll
Yeah, I
help
was
you with
gonna
this
say,
in a
mine didn't
minute.
save either, that's why I was asking, do I, press?
I guess you better do that.
Because.
Dolores again,
So
Connect
if
it somehow.
you have this
It says there's times I had to new agent.
yeah,
Okay.
now you got it.
yes.
Type her name again, all right. So, woo, Ken, you got a notice in Kelly. Exactly. And it says you have a new contact that has registered on your mobile app. And it created
It was instant.
It was so instant. Created a
Also,
contact
my clients.
in your contacts.
All
right.
Okay, so
So you got it now, connect with Dolores,
Yeah.
and confirm that
I started my own
success,
account
okay,
first.
now you're safe.
Try it out.
Okay.
My own email, but now I wanna
So,
All right, let's go back into it, tap in here to continue now, more, and.
Yes.
I was just trying to sit here and
And that's your special code. So when you text this message,
So there's something you didn't.
and they download it.
I did.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay? Whoops, sorry. We're gonna go down to.
Search for, okay, so.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
That is your specific code. Everybody, when you sign up with Keller, you're given a mobile app code. So you can text this to anybody and then say that. Now,
Okay, so
the
now.
message says, as if a friend of yours is sharing it with a friend of theirs. So some agents feel like it's a little awkward to, like, why don't you try to share it with your mom, but I'll show you what to do. All right, now, you can change, I use the Keller app to search for pencil. Well, that sounds dorky. So what some people will do is create a note.
like a personalized.
Right, change the text, and then when they go to share it, they have to just copy and
Yeah.
paste, which is an extra step, but
I'm guessing that's how you send.
Okay, now.
So it's saying with my agent, with me, that's what it's referring to, that their agent is me.
I wish, yes, I wish that we
I'm trying
could.
to try myself and see what happens.
I wish that wasn't the verbiage.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, the verbiage is confusing. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, now, if I wanted to send this to someone else, I was gonna do what now?
No, but this is not.
Share the page.
Oh, share the app, okay.
So I have tabs,
And then you have a choice of
the app, I mean, the phone actually picks up on it.
You can post it on Facebook.
So.
All right, so we got apps going.
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all learn a lot?
Yes.
All right, when would you, questions? Oh, you didn't.
That's not it.
Perfect.
Like, that might be connected to your iCloud, but.
Scroll down a little further. All right, go back into the
Right.
and flip over your screen so if you're going down. Okay, eventually you'll see share Facebook app. Tap the arrow, and it comes in, and that code is your specific
Georgia's having a Georgia real
So
estate
any,
license.
you know, text it or whatever. So,
that's
practice.
Yeah,
I'm
so
saying
just, yeah,
myself.
we'll definitely have to,
After
she'll be able to word it perfectly.
Yay, y'all got that part?
Yes.
All right. Yes.
So I just have one more question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, so that code that-
I did
You
you
took
never
over
noticed
for
that.
it. This is, oh, this is about, I thought Terry had said some
Yeah.
conversations that
They be showing up at your house.
somehow you
Yeah.
say that
We're not doing
Georgia
that.
law.
So it would work with you.
Yes,
You already
at the
have
top
that.
of, have I sent you the,
But that would send them to. your
buyer
specific
brokerage
address.
agreement? Did I send that in an email?
I think so.
Okay.
That's all.
Yes, at the top of the buyer brokerage agreement, it says that it is Georgia law that an agreement be signed between a client and their brokerage, in order for you to represent them as a client. That's where, so some of those, you know, scripts talking about, well, if, you know, I wanna be able to hold your information in confidence and represent you, but that's how that ties together. And it's at the very top of the buyer brokerage agreement. So would y'all, depending on what 4th of July plans you have, would you want to meet on Friday? We don't have class Friday, to do the buyer consult.
This
I'm
Friday?
doing one in
I'm asking,
real life.
I'm offering.
July
Yeah.
6th.
This Friday?
What
We don't have class
time?
on the following Friday, do we?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have class this Friday.
But we do
Oh.
the following.
The next week, because we're off Monday for the federal observation of 4th of July, we go through Tuesday through Friday next week.
Okay.
And remember, Certainty wants to take everybody to 10 Lizzie's after the test on Friday.
Ooh, oh, nice.
Our test is Friday.
Yeah, it's just next Friday. We're done.
What time on Friday? Because I
I'm
have to
open.
I have to do tour at 10, so.
I feel like
I mean, I just threw it out because we don't have class.
Yeah.
You
We
said
can
an
do it
hour?
anytime, but I know that, you know, it's not gonna get done.
Well, I actually have to,
You know,
I'll be out there
adults.
with, yeah.
All right, well, wait, y'all think about it.
We have class tomorrow, we can tell you.
Oh, yeah. And you got Cynthia Pierce. Now, in the email I sent, and we're gonna resolve where your email went, I sent you a copy of the purchase and sale. Honey, this woman is tough. You better read that thing.
Okay.
It's 8 pages long, but the last page is just signatures.
Okay.
The front page is all the fill in the blank, the last page is signatures. Page 7 is just where you indicate which exhibits you're attaching, like the seller's property disclosure. Please be on time to class tomorrow. Please leave early enough to be here at 10, for Cynthia's sake.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've got a pen on the floor, I didn't want you to trip over. Okay. Yes, real estate is work. I know this is your thing. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was so much work. But can you see that once we have this buyer consult package ready, and we've got our script book, and we'll practice a few times, you can do it. You can do it. Veronica, talk to me. No, I know. But can you see how this all comes together?
I've worked a lot harder for a lot less money. The bigger picture
You sent the
is,
purchase sale agreement to our email?
The email that I sent this morning that had all those links, if you look at
Oh,
the
okay.
attachments, it's attached as a PDF.
Okay. Okay, I see.
it's attached as a PDF.
Yeah.
Okay. I have this
Is that where the buyer brokerage is also, and that?
Not that particular email. I'll have to look back and see, but you won't need that for,
Is the directions for prepping your buyer consultation email?
That's
Yes.
what she said,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Y'all, we covered a lot of ground. You can do it. Because we're gonna do more open houses, we're gonna find more folks. we can serve, and y'all are gonna be professionals.
Well,